Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about Vesta in the 8th house in a natal chart. Now, where Vesta is placed in our natal chart can show where we have a lot of power of concentration and concentration of power. It could also show where we generally won't allow extraneous things to interfere with what we're doing. Also, the area where we show a lot of focus and concentration. Now, if you have Vesta in the 8th house, this could be in areas connected with astrology, the occult, supernatural, deep, extensive research, sex, intimate relationships, shared resources, taxes, insurance, and also transformation and regeneration. Now, also, where Vesta is placed on our natal charts can show the area where we need to escape and extricate ourselves from time to time, because otherwise, if we don't, our energy can become dissipated and depleted. And because a lot of times where Vesta is placed by sign and house can show the area where we often use an abundance of energy. And we often have to kind of get away from that from time to time in order to kind of replenish that energy, so to speak. So anyway, this is another thing about Vesta is the fact that Vesta can also represent that rationalized and analyzed sexual partner. It could be that sexual partner that we select through the process of rationalization and analysis. Now, if you have Vesta in the 8th house, this could be somebody that can be very sexual, somebody that is there for moral support, somebody that is very deep and not superficial. And keep in mind, the 8th house can also have Scorpio-like undercurrents. So it could be someone that embodies some Scorpio-like characteristics. It could be a person that might be very resilient, might be very powerful, and somebody that could be very intense as well. So anyway, where Vesta is located in our natal charts can also show where we have very strong dedication and devotion to. Now, if you have Vesta in the 8th house, this could be, you could show that strong devotion and dedication perhaps to sex, deep, extensive research, astrology, the occult, supernatural, psychology, taxes, investigation, psychoanalysis, and even shared resources. So anyway, where Vesta is placed in our natal charts can also show the area in life where we want to be infallible or perfect. Now, hardly anybody is perfect or infallible in any way, shape, or form, but where Vesta is placed in the natal chart can show where you want to be as close to infallible and perfect as you possibly can. Now, with Vesta in the 8th, this could be matters connected with psychoanalysis, so perhaps being able to, for example, being able to decipher characters and motives of others, psychoanalyzing people in general, sex, taxes as well. Also, where Vesta is placed in our natal charts can show where we don't want to be restricted. And with Vesta in the 8th house, this could be matters of, again, pertaining to sex, control over shared resources, transformation. And anyway, it's also important to look at the sign that Vesta is in a natal chart, in this case Vesta being in the 8th house, but it's also important to look at the sign as well, because this could impact the description and delineation. Now, let's say you have Vesta in Sagittarius in the 8th house in your natal chart. Well, this could show that you might, it may show still strong dedication, devotion to matters connected with transformation, but you may do so, a lot of this transforming and transformation with a lot of exuberance and Sagittarius-like enthusiasm. And also, it's important to look at the aspects, if any, that are made to your Vesta in the 8th house, as this could impact the delineation and description as well. Now let's say you have Pluto making an adverse aspect to your Vesta in your 8th house in your natal chart. Let's say Pluto makes a square opposition or even an inconjunct to your Vesta in the 8th. Well, this could be somebody that could be very, shows that strong dedication to sex, but might show a more, with a lot more obsession and really, and be fixated with it as well. It might be that dedication, devotion to being fixated and obsessed with sex, because Pluto adverse aspects can often give fixated and obsessive activity and urges. So the thing too is also uh, it could also give compulsive behavior when Pluto negative adverse aspects can do that. So there could be a danger of maybe almost having like a compulsive issue as far as sex goes, if in having that dedication to that as well. If you have let's say Vesta in the 8th house and it makes an adverse aspect by Pluto. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for Vesta in the 8th house in a natal chart. And stay tuned next time where I'll be talking about Vesta in the 9th house in a natal chart. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.